morning, everyone. I'm Aanuoluwapo Sunday from Culinary University in Nigeria, and today I'll be presenting a paper titled An Indigenous Normative Ethics of Food and Environmental Sustainability. So what I intend to do in this work is to look at the pressing challenge of food and environmental sustainability from an African perspective, particularly Yoruba African perspective, and I'll be doing this through the lens of true Yoruba African proverbs that are important for food sustainability as well as environmental sustainability. And I'll be hinging this discussion on a moral compass which I tag eco-consequentialism, and I see it as a basis for a responsible action in food consumption and environmental management, and this is derived from ancient African principles. Now, by way of introduction, in contemporary times, the challenge of food production, consumption, and environmental sustainability has become increasingly burdensome. This challenge is deeply rooted in human consumption habits and environmentally harmful attitudes that endanger the natural environment responsible for food production. Efforts to address this challenge have involved in-depth studies aimed at analyzing human consumption patterns to better understand them and mitigate environmental risk. The area of focus in this study is the unique Yoruba African perspective regarding the nature, purpose, and utilization of natural resources, particularly land, in food generation and the imperative for environmental sustainability. And so this work sheds light on an ethic of food from African standpoint. According to Aanuoluwapo, he argues that the aim of the land ethics is to preserve the integrity, stability, and beauty of the biotic community, but it fails to give clear directives due to the complexities of um, of the of biotic mechanism. But the Yoruba African perspective, on the other hand, offer insights that can help to maintain the integrity, stability, and beauty of the ecosystem. So this paper will argue that in the long run, the goals of food and environmental sustainability may converge with certain cultural beliefs. As many cultures face challenges related to food and environmental sustainability, each culture may begin to seek indigenous solutions to their unique problems. So, therefore, the need to explore local solutions tailored to specific problems in distinct areas and regions, and then globalize these potential solutions arises. This moral guidance, particularly concerning food consumption and environmental stewardship, is derived from two African principles of wise husbandry. The first one is the saying that oúnjẹ tí a ó jẹ pẹ́ a kì í bu òkèlè rẹ̀ tóbi, meaning that food that one expects to last, one does not eat in huge handfuls. And the other one says, ikú kì í jẹun ẹni kó pani, àrùn kì í jẹun ẹni kó ṣeni. That is, death does not eat one's food and afflict one. Disease does not eat one's food and afflict one. And so, the work is divided into about 4 sections. The second one will look at the global challenges surrounding food consumption and environmental preservation. The third section looks at Yoruba normative ethics concerning food and environmental sustainability. And the fourth section depicts Yoruba ethics of food and environmental sustainability as a moral compass for conscious and food and environmental action. Now, the global challenge of food and environmental sustainability. The challenge of food and environmental sustainability is a global concern. And in the context of food and environment, as outlined by the United Nations, sustainability entails the principle that food production and consumption ought to occur in methods that minimize waste to our natural surroundings, methods that can make food last over time and do not harm environmental well-being. So the intertwining of these concerns arises from the vital role food plays in human survival. Simultaneously, the environment's significance in food production to meet human needs cannot be overstated. And so, there is the global demand to improve food supply, to improve environmental sustainability. And this demand has further deepened by increase in population, because increase in human population does not only lead to increase in food demand but also increase in quality food demand, which puts further pressure on the environment. And so it becomes very important to begin to seek indigenous solutions to all of these problems, even though they are global. But each culture, each background may begin to seek solutions that can now be globalized. Now, the Yoruba normative ethics of food and environmental sustainability. The Yoruba people reside predominantly in southwest Nigeria. You also find some of them in Togo. You find some of them in Benin Republic. Their cultural fabric is interwoven with their religious convictions, and embedded within their cultural belief is a profound reverence for food, encompassing its consumption. And this reference for food includes its consumption and the imperative step to ensure its sustainable production while preserving environmental equilibrium. These ethos give rise to a normative framework governing food practices and environmental sustainability among the Yoruba people of Nigeria. You know, for the Yoruba people, food holds significant cultural and social importance. You know, food for them is a key identifier in their community, and this is evident in their preference for certain food. Like generally among Yoruba people, you find preference for a type of food known as inyo. Inyo is inyo, that is pounded yam, and this pounded yam is made from yam. When you pound yam into solid form, that is pounded yam. You know, food for them is an identifier. That is why they say iyán ló ń jẹ, ọkà lóògùn, kẹnu má dilẹ̀ ní ti gúgúrú, àìrí rárá là ń jẹ̀kọ. It reflects the perception that pounded yam is staple. Rice is considered more of a medicine. Popcorn is merely a snack, and pap is resorted to only when other options are scarce. So it shows that they have preference for what we call pounded yam. And also, food for them play a vital role as in their societal custom, notably in the tradition of hospitality. You know, among the Yoruba people, you welcome guests, you entertain guests with food. It is seen as a sign of hospitality and as well as a sign of communal sharing. And also for them, food is seen as a necessity for life. And it is reflected in the proverb that says, Bí oúnjẹ bá tán nínú ìṣẹ́, àbùṣébùṣe, that is, if one does not lack food, despite his poverty, then there is less to worry about. So for them, despite economic challenges, it is important for one to have food. And so, recognizing the critical importance of food for them, they also understand that the environment that yields this food must be preserved, particularly land. And so they engage in crop rotation. They believe that land is able to sustain life. And so they revere land. They believe that there is a spirit that resides in the land that makes agriculture productive. Also, the perspective of food and environmental sustainability that I look at in this work is encapsulated in two proverbs. But before we go and examine these proverbs, it is important to discuss the significance and utility of proverbs among African culture and to see how they encapsulate philosophical wisdom. Among the Yoruba people of Nigeria, proverbs are regarded as invaluable linguistic tool for cultural expressions. You know, proverbs for them is infused with philosophical and metaphorical richness that embodies truth, wisdom. Proverb for them is seen as a conduit for conveying specific expectations or for conveying specific ideals. And it is within this proverb that we see their belief about food and environmental sustainability. The first proverb is Oúnjẹ tí a ó jẹ pé a kì í bu òkèlè rẹ̀ tóbi. That is, food that one expects to last too long one does not eat in huge handfuls. It embodies the principles of food security and environmental ethics within the Yoruba culture. It reflects a mindset of moderation and responsible resource management, as articulated by Segun Ogungbemi in his Ethics of Nature Relatedness, where he argues that where he showed Africans as not taking more than necessary from nature. This proverb underscores the importance of prudent food management and disapproves of wastefulness among the Yoruba people. And so by advocating for consuming food in measured quantities, it promotes the idea of sustainable resource utilization. And according to Alafe 2021, she describes this as Ikora Ninija, that is moderate cautiousness. And all of this aligns with their mindful consumption and respect for the natural environment. That is, as the environment is producing this food, the onus lies on us as humans not to waste this food. Now, the second proverb says, Iku ki jẹun ẹni kó pani, àrùn kì í jẹun ẹni kó ṣe ni. That is, death does not eat one's food and then kill one. Disease does not eat one food and then afflict one. While the first proverb refers to food sustainability, the second one makes reference to environmental sustainability. It carries a denotative meaning that is not related to food consumption, but rather related to the environment. They believe that when we do what we are supposed to do for the environment, that is, when we take care of the environment will continue to yield its produce to enhance human sustainability. You know, this proverb can be applied to emphasize the importance of safeguarding the environment for maintaining the beauty, stability, and integrity of the ecosystem, as desired by environmental ethicists like Aanuoluwapo. In essence, the proverb suggests humans should not exploit or deplete nature to the point of endangering themselves. It underscores the belief that maintaining a balanced and healthy environment is crucial for human survival, while on the other hand, neglecting nature's needs and overexploiting its resources can lead to detrimental consequences, you know, that can lead to illness or even death. So our food that death has to eat so as not to kill us or afflict us with diseases is care towards nature. This perspective aligns with various theories developed by African philosophers such as ethics of nature relatedness, ethics of eco-biocommunitarianism, indigenous environmental ethics, moral relational theory, and African relational environmentalism. All of this theory emphasize the interconnectedness between humans and the natural world, advocating for ethical and sustainable interaction with the environment. In essence, these proverbs convey profound message about the reciprocity, that is, about the reciprocal relationship that exists between humans and the environment. And so, human actions and environmental health are dependent upon each other. And it also shows the imperative of nurturing and preserving nature to safeguard ecosystem balance. And so from this, we can derive a moral compass that I tag as eco-consequentialism. You know, consequentialism holds that the morality of our actions depends on the consequence, on the outcome of such actions. So in relation to environment, any action that does not promote the stability, the beauty of the ecosystem is bad. But the one that yields positive consequence, that ensures that food is available, that ensures that waste is minimized, that ensures that land is preserved, all of these things are good. They are morally good. Now, one thing that I observe is that the erosion of cultural values in Africa has contributed to a neglect of its rich philosophical heritage, exacerbating various problems, including food and ecological issues around the continent. As well, factors such as greed, corruption, and mismanagement of resources and poor leadership have further compounded these challenges. And however, given the urgency and the uniqueness of Africa's food and environmental crisis, there is a pressing need to shift towards bottom-up solutions that draw up indigenous knowledge and practices. Like for instance, in some parts of Africa, especially in Nigeria, there is the steady increase in prices of goods and services. Now, all of these things can be combated when we begin to look back at our indigenous belief about food, about environmental preservation. So this study contains that the selected proverbs in this study can serve as a moral compass in addressing some of our challenges. These proverbs, rooted in the principle of consequentialism, encapsulate centuries of wisdom and experience, and it offers timeless guidance and sustainable resource management that can help in harmonious coexistence with nature. And it is argued that by looking at these selected African proverbs and many more, communities can reconnect with their cultural heritage and draw upon indigenous solutions tailored towards their specific um, challenges. So this approach would help us to develop self-reliance. It would empower communities to address food and environmental issues within them. And if we also look at this proverb, it advocates for a harmonious relationship between humans and nature, and this relationship is grounded in respect, is grounded in moderation, and it is grounded in reciprocity. So um, in this work, I argue that and I argue that there is need for us to begin to engage the global need for food and environmental sustainability locally, and I look at two major philosophical thoughts as laying foundation for an ethics of food and environmental sustainability among the Yoruba people of Africa. And I also try to demonstrate that the Yoruba moral outlook, they are rich in finding solutions to local issues. So this research discussed highlight an indigenous environmental ethics prevalent among Yoruba culture, emphasizing the interconnectedness between food practices and environmental stewardship. This ethics serves as a cautionary reminder regarding the importance of mindful consumption and responsible interaction with the natural world. So, I argue that this is the time to tackle our local issues from traditional understanding that are still relevant in contemporary times. Thank you very much.